Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30. It is Friday, July 10th, and very surprising. That nice little rally going on here, going into the close. Not a lot of strength developed at the 2 o'clock hour. I wasn't expecting it either. I would have expected the weakness to start showing its face at least before that 2 o'clock hour. But so far, we just got this rally after this crazy stuff going on mid-morning, where not Nasdaq on the ES. You can see it pretty clearly here. That was the Trump little tweet posting. The market got crazy for a second, but it was pretty sloppy in the morning. Then you had a crazy rotation there. I tried one trade there, a long trade on the rotation up. Turned out that was a little bit too early on that thing. They took it all the way down here and then back up. So it kind of right on the direction. I was expecting them to take it higher, given the fact that they couldn't take it lower here. So I mean, after that initial rotation up, you would expect them, even if they faked you out here, to potentially take it lower, but they didn't do much of that at all. There's a small little rotation there, but overall the bias kind of switched to the long side. It's kind of interesting though, because you have all these stuff potentially can happen over the weekend. So market is shrugging it off. That is big IPO came out today as well. Could be part of it as well. But it's a net buying going on even after that London close. Yes, the market kind of died off. Volume slowed down quite a bit. You can see it on the size of the bars. How it slows down and nothing happens. It's just kind of drifting higher. It's drifting. It's a good 15 points, 15, 20 points to the upside over the last 3 hours. So you can sit in that trade if you want. I stopped trading it after that. I took one Nasdaq trade also on the way down when they were actually looked at. It looks like they were taking it lower, but that turned into be just a kind of saved by the grace there. It's got me to break even and then stopped me out. And of course, that's when you get excited and want to re-engage it. You thought you kind of missed it there, but shaking out. But if you try to get short on the way up here, look at that. They have to run over you and then run over you and a half. Put it that way. So I kind of stopped trying to be cute about that. So if I get shaken out in a trade, then I'm not going to try to be very aggressive on it, especially when it starts retracing. Because you just never know, because you are at the support there. You have initial balance low, you have prior rotation there. It could hold. And if that holds and you're on the wrong side of that trade, you better get out early. Otherwise, you'll be blowing up your account. And then they were up here testing the upper edge, hard rotation down. And I figured like, man, this is crazy rotations. And then they started heading higher here. But man, this stuff here, the initial balance is nice, about 29,800 up to 29,900. It's over 100 points of range. It's under 110 points of range. It's pretty crazy. That's a lot of range. So it's much bigger than you want to sit in a trade through. And then after they traded a little bit higher, but then it didn't go anywhere. It had just twisting in the wind here going into the afternoon. No new highs, hasn't sold off. So if you get in on a trade here, you'll be twisting in the wind for a while. But I opted not to trade after those two trades. So two shakeouts, that's all I did today. And but ES is net grinding higher, and Nasdaq is kind of just holding in a holding pattern. But they're up to the upside. So I would start off with a slight bias to the upside going into the overnight, and then see if they can this continues on Monday. But that's kind of the dynamic I'm looking at. So starting off, looking to buy weakness on the ES. If they start on the ES, if they let's see what the rotations are there. I would say 7,600. Yeah. So if they take out this area 7,600, this mode, I would give it to the 75.90s too. So these two support areas. If both of them comes out in the overnight, I would be more inclined to take off the long bias. Otherwise, I'll start with a long bias and see how far they want to take it. On the Nasdaq, that level is going to be looking to buy weakness on the Nasdaq probably against these two little edge at the about 30,000s, so about 30,000s, and then that G print down here at the 940s. So adjusting this lower a little bit, but if you start taking out that G print, then we're likely, because if you split out this G print, this is your move out of the middle starting point. So if I just split it right now, you'll see how obvious that is. Split, come on. There you go. So you see here, right down here at the 79, at the 938 to 40s, it's your starting point. It'll move out of the middle to the upside, taking out resistance. And when that happens, you kind of want to be buying the first level down to 30,000. The next level down is going to be about that 940s. Below that one, take off the long bias, go back range bound. So that's how we get started on the ES and the NASDAQ. Looking at our bonds, bond market just kind of going sideways. They had a little bit of an excitement, a little bit of reaction here on that posting. Thereafter, they died off. Very typical to see this after the London close. Yes, kind of dies off. It was actually a pretty decent setup up here at the 15s. I know I kind of missed it. I wasn't paying attention to it, but that was a nice setup. Like 4 bars right at the London close, and they ran up into that prior resistance area. So definitely an opportunity to get short on that level. But you know, it's if you look at this rotation up here on the bid-ask chart, there's nothing here to get you short unless you had a working order and resting. There are only 259 contracts traded at that level, so that's not a lot. So you can have sat there for like 25 minutes and not getting filled and see it trade away from you. So there you have it. Anyway, nothing going on in cryptos. There's been swinging back and forth wildly. Not much direction and movement there at all. And so looking back here, and we're looking at back to the S and Nasdaq, pretty much where we left it. So now you have it. Looking to buy weakness early on here in the overnight going into Sunday, not Sunday, Monday. We'll see if anything comes out over the weekend. That could obviously change, but if not, if everything stays status quo, I think we'll start off next week. It's going to be earnings next week. The bank starts reporting, and then you'll start seeing how the earnings reports come out. And if they're good, I think this rally continues. Anyway, we'll leave it there, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back on Monday, and we'll go at this again. All right, guys, later.